Hello everyone and welcome back to Planet Zoo. As always, I'm Reckless, and today we are doing our next installment in our Calgary Zoo recreation. This is our American Bison Habitat. As you can see on screen there, the Calgary Zoo does feature a bison exhibit in their zoo, so I figured this would be the logical next step for our Calgary Zoo recreation. This build was done on stream over on twitch.tv/reckless1gaming. If you want to follow the build live, you can visit us over there and come and say hello. You can chat with me in real time. We've had a lot of fun over there on stream, so don't be shy to come and say hello. Also, I've linked our Discord down in the description below. If you're not a member of that yet, feel free to join the Discord. I always post there as to when I'm going live, so you can always keep up to date with my schedule. As far as this habitat goes, in regards to the Calgary Zoo, I'm finding it quite difficult to find pictures or screenshots or anything like that of the actual enclosures for the zoo itself. So the way I've decided to take this build is I'm going to follow the layout of the zoo in the sense that I'm going to put the animal habitats where they are found in the zoo itself, but I'm going to be taking creative freedom with the actual design of the habitats and stuff like that. As far as the buildings the zoo uses for promotional activities, or like a donated building, as I'm sure you know, a lot of zoos have buildings donated to them by either different corporations or families and stuff like that, right? So donators, if you will. So I'm going to try and recreate those buildings as best as I can, like we did with the gift shop. But when it comes to the actual animal habitats and everything like that, I'm going to be taking my creative freedoms, just simply because there's not a lot of media available. I've been debating possibly contacting the zoo to see if they have any sort of resource to get a better idea of the visuals of these habitats, but I haven't quite got there yet. The reason why it's difficult is the Google Earth for the Calgary Zoo. The person who captured the zoo actually took the staff path for the majority of the Canadian Wilds section of the zoo. They didn't actually go down the path that most guests would travel down, which is where you would see the habitats, of course, right? So unfortunately, the Google Earth for the Calgary Zoo isn't very helpful as far as that goes for what we're trying to accomplish here. But I do apologize for the delay in this video and also the delay in my streaming. I had a load of problems with my computer in the last week and a half, and I actually had to replace a good percentage of the actual computer itself. I found out it was getting extremely hot. Like, my CPU, my processor was spiking upwards of 100 degrees plus when idle, right? So I knew something was wrong. I took it into the shop, and it turns out that both the CPU and the cooler had essentially died. I don't know if one was a result of the other or what have you, but either way, both the CPU and the cooler were shot. So I figured, I had to fix it, so take this time to upgrade, right? I mean, financially, it was probably the worst possible time to have to upgrade computer components, but, you got to do what you got to do, right? So I have since upgraded now to a i9 9900 KF, I believe is the model number for it. So it's the 9900 series for the 9th generation Intel processors. And I think the difference between the K and the KF is that the KF does not have an onboard graphics processor, but as you well know, most computers will have a GPU anyhow, right? As mine does. So I figured, I got that one at a good price, worked out for me. I also had to upgrade my motherboard as a result. So I upgraded to the Z390 I believe this one is an Asus board. It's fairly well rated, but it does the job for the 9 series card that I wanted to use. I didn't really find the value in going to the 10th generation processor. I mean, my monitor is only 1440p. I'm not doing 4K or anything like that as of yet. So for now, I didn't really see the benefit. Also, I didn't want to upgrade my GPU at this time, since my GPU is still fairly good. I'm going to wait to see how the 3000 series GPUs turn out from NVIDIA, and I might even wait till the 4000. Ray tracing is obviously the next generation of tech, so until the cards kind of master their ability to make ray tracing a thing, I think I'm going to hold off on upgrading my GPU. But aside from that, the other piece I upgraded was my cooler. So I got a NZXT, I believe it's called. So all in all, that's why my builds have been delayed. But now it's all fine. Everything's back to normal. So I will be going live on a regular basis over on Twitch, and you can expect the videos to follow as well. As a result of the upgrade, a lot of the lag that we were experiencing with our larger parks has actually subsided. Basically, a lot of people are saying that Planet Zoo is very heavily CPU oriented, and I'm definitely discovering that in my playthroughs now. Since upgrading my CPU, I have a much easier time of placing objects and reducing the lag in the time it takes to place and everything. My GPU still, right now I'm running a GTX 980 Ti, and it still does get maxed out on bigger parks in certain situations, but for now it'll have to do, and I'll just have to kind of tone back my addiction to foliage in certain situations. You guys know how I like to go overboard on the foliage sometimes. But either way, the American Bison Habitat, I think, turned out really good. These are technically plains animals, right? So, I mean, the amount of foresting and stuff like that, I had to kind of limit, but at the end of the day, it is in a zoo, and the zoo is in a certain biome. The Calgary Zoo itself is on like a little forested island in the middle of a river, in the middle of the Bow River in Calgary. So, I mean, it's a forested type island, so you're not going to get any big open plains and stuff like that. But also, open plains are boring, right? I mean, you don't want to see a habitat with just big open plains, right? So, again, I'm taking my creative liberties and freedoms to kind of build whatever the heck I want. I hope you guys can appreciate that, and I hope you like the way the habitat turned out at the end of the day. I really enjoy the bison in this game. I think their models are absolutely fantastic, as you're seeing on screen here now. They're big chunky boys, they're big thick animals, and the game really does them justice as far as that is concerned. Growing up, it's funny, we always called bison buffalo, right? Like, it's just always what we called them, but they're not actually buffalo at all. Like, there's no buffalo in North America. Like, buffalo are like your water buffalo or your Southeast Asian water buffalo, right? Either Cape buffaloes or water buffaloes from Asia and stuff like that, right? But all growing up, I never ever called a bison. It was always a buffalo, right? I don't know if this has to do with like pop culture with like Dances with Wolves and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they called him buffalo in that movie, or Tatanka, right, being the Native American name for him. But I was always fascinated with them. Growing up in Calgary, there are certain buffalo farms in which they farm buffalo, I'm assuming for meat or conservation. I'm not 100% on why, but I remember I was taking a trip to Yellowstone with Yellowstone National Park in America with my family, and this was the first time I actually saw like an actual herd of bison. And the herds of bison in Yellowstone are absolutely massive, like thousands of animals, just absolutely incredible. And it really, it hit home for me how North America must have looked with, like these super herds of bison just roaming the plains and stuff like that. And like, maybe not Calgary itself, but like east of Calgary into like Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Canada and all through the Midwest of America were these super herds of bison, just millions of animals strong. And unfortunately, European descendants and whatnot put an end to that and almost brought the animals to extinction. Thankfully, they have been able to rebound through conservation efforts and people becoming aware to their plight, right? As always, most animals get more conservation efforts the more people hear about them, the more people know about them and stuff like that, right? So that's why I think it's important that zoos not only exist, but they focus on awareness as well as conservation efforts, educating people to the current situation that the animals may be in. But all in all, if you haven't seen a bison in real life and you ever do get the chance to see one, absolutely take it. They're incredible animals, and they really are majestic, and you will be amazed at the sheer size of these creatures. But all in all, the current plans for the Calgary Zoo recreation, next up we are going to be doing the timber wolves, and then we will be moving into the bears as well. So you got some carnivores coming in the next couple videos. Again, we are streaming this series live on Twitch. I'll leave a link down in the description as well, so you can find us over there. Feel free to drop us a follow so you know when we are going live over there. But all in all, I hope you guys are enjoying the builds this far. I do have a new video for our Asian zoo coming very shortly. I'm currently working on a mega project over there, so don't worry, that build will continue. But all in all, I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.